Hey guys. So, for anyone who doesn't know, I love Yu Yu Hakusho, or as I called it back in the day, Yu Yu Hashimashi. Um, every night, it was on Adult Swim or whatever. It was like Toonami or whatever it was. Just remember, it was like that, you know, 10 to 1 block where they had like FLCL and Cowboy Bebop, Yu Yu Hakusho, stuff like that. Um, But for some reason, every time I watched it, and me and my friend joke about this, every time it was on, for some reason, it always seemed like it was the Three Eyes of Hiei, the episode with Yusuke fighting Hiei. And it seemed like every single time we watched it, that's what episode it was. I mean, I saw all the episodes, but for some reason, it seemed like they just played that one a little bit more than all the others. Doc! Are you telling me? No. You built a time machine out of a DeLorean? Um, but Yu Yu Hakusho, it's 112 episodes of amazing storytelling, animation, character development, um, the openings and endings and all that are what you'd expect from the 90s. Cheesy, weird things that don't make any sense, as I'll point out. I'll probably watch these through and then kind of talk about them. So, because, you know, copyright stuff and all that, or I might pause during and bring something up or something. I don't know. But if you haven't seen them, go watch it. It's 112 episodes. I think every single episode is here on YouTube. That someone's been was able to upload. Go watch them. They are amazing. Um, no filler, so no, oh, wacky beach adventure. No, none of that crap. Um, just one episode after another of, each episode kind of blending and, into the next, and every villain that gets defeated, the end of the episode or whatever, and kind of flows nicely into the next arc. So there's really no downtime. It's just one after another, which is great. You have so much bloat like in Naruto or Bleach or One Piece or all these others where it's just like filler and filler. This has none of that. Has none of that. This is why it's one of my favorite episodes of all time, or favorite anime of all time. The manga just as amazing. Obviously, both the manga and the anime have differences, which I'll kind of get into, you know. But yeah, so here's the first opening. Again, keep in mind, just cheesy 90s anime goodness. So if you're seeing it's like, oh, that's kind of stupid, good. Soak it all in. Just enjoy the music. Because you hear the song now and you're like, yeah. But here we go. Okay, so I just had to stop real fast for this. Kuwabara. In middle school, we had a friend named Nathan, and we called him Kuwabara because he was like Kuwabara. He was like tall, not taller than me, but tall. He was kind of like lanky, even though Kuwabara actually isn't lanky. He's actually pretty ripped. Um, very long face. Why the long face, Kuwabara? But he did run like that, and that's actually the reason why we started calling him Kuwabara, because I think it was like in PE or something, but he was running. He's like, dude, you run like Kuwabara. We all watched Yu Yu Hakusho, and that's why we all thought it was like, huh, this dude runs like Kuwabara. And fortunately, he knew what we were talking about because, you know, we were kids in the early 2000s watching Yu Yu Hakusho at night. So we all knew. That's why we all hung out. We all had Yu Yu Hakusho as as an anime favorite and stuff like that. But at one point, we forgot what his real name was. That's how long we had been calling him Kuwabara. We're like, Kuwabara, what's your real name? He's like, you're kidding me, right? We're like, no, we genuinely forgot what your name is. Like, it's Nathan. Like, oh yeah. Thanks, Kuwabara. No, he was dopey, but he was cool. Uh, and then he spends the night one night over at my house, and we're just in my room. We're playing games, and we've got food. It's like, hey, Kuwabara, can you pass that? Never mind. It seems like you're too busy finishing them up. Thanks for nothing. Um, but yeah, Kuwabara.
In the countryside, I wander far and wide. The isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go when I feel like crying. Oh my, it's time to open myself to something new. I wanna stop and grow up again. Then suddenly, my pride and confidence start swelling up, magically erupt. And it's all because of kindness that I feel from people I don't even know. Then suddenly, my intuition and my wisdom grow. And then I know that most of all I sense compassion's real. Thanks to strangers wherever I go. Thank you for waking me up.
Okay, so first, like a beta character almost. Um, so we've got Etsuko, who is Yusuke's mom. We've got Botan. We have Keiko. This is the one that my cat is named, my outside cat. This is who Keiko is named after. This Keiko. And then we have this. Looks like nothing like Shizuru, but Shizuru is Kuwabara's sister, and presumably this is the Dark Tournament, which Etsuko doesn't go to. Shizuru's there, though. Etsuko, even by the end of the series, has no idea what her son does. Yusuke finds out he has demon blood in him, and he decides to go to the demon world. And Keiko says, well, did you tell your mom? And he's like, yeah, but I don't think she understood what I was saying because she asked me to pick up a 6-pack for her on the way back. So after how much time has passed, Yusuke is a spirit detective. His mom had no idea that he was fighting demons and solving cases and stuff like that, where his life was at risk so many times. But yeah, she was never there. I mean, I know it's to introduce characters, but and this is like beta Itsuko or Shizuru. But like I said, the cheesy goodness, like Genkai having to power up her fist to watch out, Genkai, that rock is coming in hot. And apparently Yusuke getting the crap knocked out of him by a freaking tornado. Like, really? Watch out, guys, a tornado. What are the odds of a tornado popping up? But like I said, it's just cheesy goodness. And then we got the cast. We've got Koenma, Karama, Hiei, Botan, Yusuke, Keiko, Itsuko, Kuwabara, and Genkai. And when I heard Genkai, I was like, Frieza? Because Linda Young, who played Frieza, also does the voice of Genkai. And she doesn't change the voice really much. So Genkai basically just sounds like Frieza. But it's a great introduction, and I can't imagine anyone as Yusuke apart from Justin. Justin Cook has such an interesting voice that he really didn't have to change his voice for Yusuke. That's basically his voice. Even now, that's why it's so easy for him to get back into the character of Yusuke, because he is Yusuke. It's his voice. I mean, he's a little older now, so but if they were to bring Yusuke back in some way, Yusuke would be kind of older too, so I guess it fits. But yeah, the Three Eyes of Hiei episode I always remember being on every single night, it seemed, or at least once a week. Like, well, guys, what episode should we be playing? Three Eyes of Hiei. They'll love it. I mean, it's a great episode. Great episode. Yusuke thinking on his feet, or rather on his ass, and deciding to fire the spirit gun at the Forlorn Hope, knowing that Hiei won't be able to dodge it in the air, and that the Forlorn Hope, being a mirror, will bounce his spirit gun back up at Hiei and hit him. It was so good. And then Yusuke was like, yeah, it was just all luck. He's like, I saw this, in science class once, and I thought it might be the same with light being, shown on a mirror and bouncing off. He's like, just figured it might be the same thing. So, great tactician Yusuke is. So here's the first ending. Now keep in mind these endings go kind of hard. Not gonna lie. Again, cheesy 90s goodness with the weird poses and scenarios that they were never in. But the music is good. The music is what you remember, not the, Yusuke holding the giant. No, you don't remember that. You remember the music. So. Tick.
Constantly I think of things I can't complete. Well, it's time to throw them into the backseat. Son of a gun. Life's a fleeting dream, don't let it go. You gotta make the most of it, you know.
Like that. That never happens. Yeah, so this never happens. He never needs a weapon because he's got a spirit gun. So once again, one of those, it makes no sense. But then you have Hanging Neck Island, which is the Dark Tournament, which is by far one of the best arcs in any anime. People think about like what is it, My Hero Academia or Hunter x Hunter or Dragon Ball Z or anything that has like a tournament style arc in it. And people know, like the Dark Tournament, it is so good. Like, just go watch it. Like even the final round, Kuwabara versus Elder Toguro. Elder Toguro just totally just go watch it. Harama versus Karasu, Hiei versus Bui, and then the final like 4 or 5 episodes of the tournament with Yusuke versus Toguro. Some of the best dialogue, some of the best animation, some of the best just choreography when it comes to the attacks. It's so good. It's so freaking, and Toguro being such an amazing character because he comes off as like this big brute. He's like a demon. He was made into a demon. He wasn't born a demon. He won the tournament, and it's like, oh yeah, you can get anything you want. He wanted to become a demon, so the tournament committee made him a demon. Demon with a body that just kind of grows stronger, never ages, and so the guy's like 50 something years old, but he doesn't look it because he's got the body of a demon now. But it's so good. I can't state how, like, it put into words. It's just good. It's so good. And This is how good the anime is and how much I love it. I cannot put into words. Normally, you guys don't see me speechless. For people who are watching, who do watch me, I normally don't get speechless at things. But this anime gets me. I don't know what I can say about it. It's just that amazing. It, um, but it's like I said, the episodes are up online. Watch them. Only 112 or so. So it's just do it. But anyway, this is the second one. Nothing majorly weird or awkward in this one. It's just Linda Young, Genkai or Frieza. She's the one singing it, so
I feel my aching heart about to break. The gentle wind that blows fills the air with peacefulness. We're standing face to face, hand in hand, and then the evening twilight drapes its arms around us, and it melts away. It's just so funny, your smiling face and mine, they're not the same. But for just right now, it's as though I'm looking in a mirror, and everything is fine, no sadness at all. So now I draw a line to live another journey, 'cause even though we've been here together, we're still different people, but we're not alone. Sayonara, bye bye. Please take care of yourself, 'cause even though we've been here together, we're still different people, but we're not alone. Sayonara, bye bye.
get it out of my face, Kakarot. No, so basically, Hiei is like what would happen if Vegeta and Sasuke had a child. Hiei is that. He's got the hair of Vegeta. He's got that coolness of Sasuke. And he's just a very angry little man. But he opens up during the series. He goes from hating Yusuke to, after the fight, kind of respecting him, and slowly becomes, like Vegeta, a defender of Earth, who not only defends it but wants to defend it. Mainly for his own selfish reasons, but well, I shouldn't say wants to defend it. Again, it's like I said, selfish reasons, because he's always like, oh, I don't belong in this world, and I couldn't care less, and but in fact he does. It's like Vegeta. He may act like he doesn't care, but he does. So, um, but he's the one that's kind of like has to come out of his shell a little bit. He's the one who's all like, I'm angry at the world, and then he just kind of, he kind of chillaxes a little bit at the end, probably because he's laying some pipe. But we'll get to that. Lucky Hiei. Lucky Hiei. He's lucky Hiei. He's lucky Hiei. He got to lay some pipe. So this is like the end of the Dark Tournament and kind of going into this Chapter Black Saga. Same thing with Toguro. Sensui is just an amazing character. Amazing villain. He's a human, but he is incredibly powerful. And in the rank of demons, like Demon World has its own ranking system, like from A class, or D, E, all the way up to like S and upper S. He's basically like an S rank demon. Now there's S rank demons and there's like upper S rank demons like the Kings, Ryzen, Yomi, Makuro, eventually Yusuke. But the fact that he can gain that kind of power where he could pretty much annihilate the planet if he wanted to, is insane. Um, but this is the end of like the Dark Tournament, going to the end of the Dark Tournament, and kind of introducing Sensui at that. It's the very end part of it. Stuff goes hard, seriously. It's so good. There we go, Sensui. But this one is like, and I really love that it's kind of like a song almost about Toguro and Genkai, because when they were younger, they were pretty much stated to be a thing. Even Elder Toguro goes out of his way to kind of like, wishing he could do to Genkai what his brother did to her and all that stuff. And, but it's the tournament itself, just, even though I can't stand you remember Dr. Ichigaki. Ziru, Mr. I'm all talk, and then gets incinerated by the Dragon of the Darkness Flame to the point where he's nothing but an outline, like a black outline on the wall. He's like, ooh, look at me, I can use fire. And he is like, you can use fire, I am fire. Dragon of the Darkness Flame incinerates him. And then you've got Bui and Chu, which is one of the coolest characters. There's someone behind. Who's behind Chu? I think it's Karasu. I can tell because of his hair. Yeah, Karasu, really, really cool. The Mad Bomber. He can like make invisible explosives, or he can, when he takes off his mask, he takes in oxygen and he kind of turns Super Saiyan. His hair turns gold, and he becomes a bomb. So it's insane. And Sakio, he doesn't really fight. He's just kind of the mastermind. Basically, he wants to set up a tunnel between human and demon world. So that way, you have people like Kurama and Hiei, the lower level, not lower levels, but lower ranking demons. They're like B class and stuff like that, and D and all that. The smaller ones, the not so powerful ones, allowing them to make their way into the human world. But he wanted to create something to where it would let like even the S class demons and the ones who could cause annihilation of the planet, just wiping people out. He wanted to let them in. But after he, Toguro lost, he was defeated, and it's like, well, I've lost, so there goes my fun. Sakio dies in the end. He kind of not really sacrifices himself, but he collapses the stadium and he decides to just kind of stay there. So he kind of goes down with the ship, really. Rinku is a great one. Yuri Urashima wasn't really him; it was really a demon in disguise. But beautiful Suzuka, Shishi Wakamaru. I love Shishi because he's got like this little imp form, and it's absolutely adorable. He comes off all cold and, oh, I'm so tough. And then he has like this tiny little imp form, and it's adorable. And it's basically like a little trickster, prankster, and he enjoys having fun. But then when he's like this, he's just like, Jin. Oi, the master to win, Jin. Everybody loves Jin and Toya, and It's just people, no matter how minuscule the characters were, you remember them, you know, and that's what's so cool about the Dark Tournament. Um, where is? Hang on. All right, so this is the second opening. This is for the Chapter Black Saga. So obviously animation's different, still cheesy. Again, 90s goodness, but
Walking in a crowd, in a faceless town, I need to feel the touch of a friend. In the countryside, I wander far and wide. The isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go. When I feel like crying, oh my, it's time to open myself to something new. I wanna stop and grow up again. Then suddenly, my power and confidence start swelling up, magically erupt. And it's all because of kindness that I feel from people I don't even know. Then suddenly, my intuition and my wisdom grow. And then I know that most of all I sense compassion's real. Thanks to strangers wherever I go. Thank you for waking me up.
okay. God. So you see the new characters introduced. It starts off with Yusuke essentially being kidnapped. You know, these three kids end up challenging Yusuke and they kidnap him because they have powers that he's not aware of. Um, and it's all set up by Genkai to kind of teach them a lesson to, you know, kind of be more aware of their surroundings and the people they're up against. Because apparently, like, there's like these new psychics that are popping up, and they all have what they call territories. You know, Asato Kido can like it's kind of like Shikamaru. He can control like shadows, and he steps on your shadow, and he basically immobilized. Um, he gets kind of paralyzed by the doctor, but so he can actually like it was so weird that he's able to do it, but like his shadow's on the ground. He was actually able to have his own shadow kind of like in his blood write the doctor's name because he was paralyzed and couldn't do it himself. So he had his shadow. He made his shadow, you know, move out from under him and just, you know, start writing his name. Yukaito, um, which is like taboo type thing where it's like he makes a territory and pretty much whatever he says goes. So if he says no violence, yeah, no violence. Don't try to attack him. You'll just break your hand like you know, like Kuwabara did. And Yanagisawa is just copy. He can finger fingerprints, memories, voice. He can, like he said, he could become your own mother. You know, he could just replace your mother and you would never know because his copy ability is perfect. It's not just copying the appearance, but it's the voice, you know, the energy signature, everything. So really cool characters. Um, but yeah, and then we have you know, Sensui and Itsuki. Just look at him. Just he's so cool. And also spirit detectives. It must be that they have to have slicked back black hair. So Yusuke slicked back black hair. Sensui slicked back black hair, and the first spirit detective was a woman, but she also had, you guessed it, black hair. You know, so I guess Koenma just has a thing for slicked back black hair or something. I don't know. Um, but he was a really cool character. Um, Really cool character. And he wanted to, same thing, he kind of wanted to do what Sakio did, but for his own reasons. Like this guy, he's like, yeah, I spent my life, killing demons. You know, I never took time to understand them. Because he split into seven personalities. He walked in on humans being more cruel to demons than any demon he'd ever seen to a human. So for him, his mind just broke. It's like, so, his personalities were created, and he just kind of wanted to not only annihilate humans, but he also wanted to get to the demon world so he can kind of live out his life, the rest, what little time he had left, to in a world where it was foreign to him, uh, around the very beings that he so eagerly took the lives of. He was like, if I could see through their eyes, but such a good, again, I can't state enough. It's so good. It is such good writing. And it's something that a lot of shows and anime now are just missing. It's, but so good.
My letter reaches you. Please don't break the seal. Just wait a little while. Give it time to heal. And I believe you'll understand just exactly how I feel. This is my last and my most loving request.
Also, Jerry Jewell singing it. Jin.
With a restless innocence, our hearts began to race. With one thing on our minds, we foolishly embraced. And now as twilight closes in, I see you from a distant place, and I wish for you all the courage that you'll ever need to be your best. And although it storms and it's raining outside, all the people of the city still believe in the existence of the sun. An old forgotten melody and the bird silhouette. A life without pain is a life without joy, without fun.
All right, so the pictures that they're showing, so like right here we've got Hiei. It looks like it's Hiei on Pooh, his Yusuke spirit beast. Right here is after Ryzen takes over Yusuke the first time when he's fighting Sensui. So Yusuke had the slick back black hair, and then after Ryzen took over, he ended up having like this really super long brownish hair. So Kurama had to use his rose whip, and because his rose whip is sharp as anything can be, and he had to cut all of that excess hair off of Yusuke because he had so much. He had all this hair. He had like the like tribal looking tattoos all over him. Um, but Kurama had to cut all the excess hair off because Yusuke didn't want it, you know. But yeah, just the whole Sensui saga with the psychics and Sensui and his seven personalities and Yusuke dying a second time but then coming back as a demon, and not just a demon, but this basically the son of one of the kings of Demon World, and not just a king of Demon World. He is by far the strongest character in the series. Like this dude Ryzen. This guy was so powerful. The two other kings, Mikuro and Yomi, they basically had to wait for this dude to die in order to, start making moves, because they had no chance against him. Even as this dude was dying, they were afraid of him. It is insane. And if Ryzen had continued eating humans like he was supposed to, You could have every villain, every person in spirit world, every force imaginable against this guy. He could flick his wrist and just boom, wipe them out. This dude is incredibly powerful, and rightly so. He's basically a god of war. Um, but this dude was so powerful that Mikuro and Yomi had to wait for him to die. You know, Yomi outright said, you know, even as during the tournament, he's like, as fun as it's been sparring with you, Ryzen's always the one I wish I could defeat. Even as powerful as Yomi got, he's like, I have no choice. I have to wait for this guy to die. I don't have a choice. And then we've got the final one, which it's kind of somber, you know, and sad and bittersweet because this was the final arc and the end of Yu Yu Hakusho. It ended just way too soon, but you know, it is what it is.
I can feel a longing hiding right behind closed eyes, ready to wake up. The time for sleeping bids goodbye. More than any lucky charm that sparkles far away. I'd rather have one thing on mine than fortune any day. Riding deep through the city of cold gray glass. I miss you so much, I ache. It's just a bad dream I'm having. I feel your hand, yet I'm wide awake. Though the wind may blow and though the floods may flow, and my heart may be tossed around forever, it's just a dream with open eyes. It's okay to float in stormy seas. I can be as gentle as the sky is wild. I'll just have a dream with my eyes open, and it won't be sad if the stars don't shine, or if my heart is breaking endlessly.
So yeah, uh, the final arc was the you know the demon tournament and or demon you know the demon world tournament, and it was really good. Ryzen finally dies, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we can claim this part, and we're gonna fight now." And Yusuke's like, "How about we just be democratic about it? Let's hold a tournament, beat the crap out of each other until one person's left standing." You know, he's like, "As I understand, it's called democracy, and it's all the rage back home." Which I mean, votes, beating the crap out of each other in a tournament isn't really that different. Um, but the Three Kings, and actually, I think I said about the differences between the anime and the manga. But the one I can think of with the manga and the anime in here, the Three Kings with actually, let me bring her up. Yes, it's a she. Well, how is she a king? Just go with it. Yukina. So that's Mikuro. Pretty hot. And that's the reason why Hiei didn't want to leave Demon World, because he had that. Like, why would you want to go back to Human World when you got that every night? And even like after you know the whole tournament and with Hiei and all that, Mikuro is like completely at ease now. Why? Because she's getting a good hot dicking. But no, her. I think of all the kings, she was actually like the most tragic. So basically, you know, the way she says she was born into slavery, but the manga a little bit different. She was, you know, basically sold off as a child, and her father, what's the nice way to put this? Would do things to her. So I believe I didn't get to read that part because I was reading the manga for a while and I stopped. But if I remember, she does kill him, which well justified. You know, she escaped a very horrible situation, but she was left so emotionally and mentally damaged. Years of assault of the that variety, that she was just completely broken. But then she turned her anger and her hatred and her just all those feelings into power. And just the more angry she got, the more powerful she became. So for her, it's very interesting that her power is directly linked to her emotions. As her, who was it? Was it Kieran? Basically, he said that when she's filled with rage and hatred, that her power is basically, unmatchable, unless it's against Ryzen. But she's basically unmatchable if she's filled with that hatred and rage. But when she was fighting in the tournament, she lost because she wasn't filled with rage anymore because of Hiei. She found someone who could relate to her, someone who was, you know, raised in a terrible situation and turned their hatred and everything into fighting. And so she had someone who understood her, and her hatred and anger just disappeared, and she just became very calm. And, you know, and all three of the kings, even though they all have their own, uh, agenda, they are very human, actually more human than most humans, which is crazy. They're full demons, but they are more human and have more depth to them character wise than most humans you'll meet. It's insane. It's just, as like I said, it blurs the line between, are demons really that different from us? Um, but then you had Ryzen, who just shows how badass he is. He fell in love with a human, like, what was it, 500,000 years, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. He meets this girl who heals him, and, they get to, they make some fucky, and, somewhere along the line, Yusuke comes rolling down, but, she dies. I think she died childbirth or something like that. And, he basically vowed to never eat another human until he met her again, which never happened because she died. So this guy essentially starved himself to death in hopes of meeting her, in the afterlife. But in Yomi, he's Yomi. He was the right hand man of Kurama back when he was Yoko, and uh in, impulsive and kind of not wanting to listen to what Kurama said. So one day, Kurama, without Yomi's, knowledge, Kurama decided to teach him a lesson. He kind of passed word of this castle that was, guarded and had untold treasures inside. And basically, Yomi and his crew were ambushed, and the first guy came out and was fighting him and slashed him in the eyes, blinded him permanently. But over that time where he was blind, he eventually gained other senses, like two more ears on each side. He started off with 2 ears like everyone, but then he gained more ears. And then he became so strong and powerful that he was able to compete with Ryzen and Makuro, for leadership of the demon world. But yeah, just the backstory. Yukina, same thing. Yukina being held hostage, being tortured for her tears. When an ice apparition cries, their tears harden and crystallize into hero stones, and they're very valuable, and they're so rare because ice apparitions don't cry. They cry once at the moment they give birth, and that's it. So that's why they're so rare, so valuable. So when Terukine found out with Yukina, he basically used her as a money machine, or at least tried to. So he was torturing her, hitting her with, tags that would burn her skin and this and that, trying to make her cry. Just because he wanted those stones that she could produce. And of course, that's Hiei's sister, so when he finds out, he comes to her rescue, and he just flips his crap. Um, but just the ice apparitions and Hiei's backstory about being tossed off the freaking floating island where his people live because he was a boy, and the ice apparitions are all females, and if it's a boy, that means bad things have been done, and so Hiei was tossed off and left for dead, and then he's taken in by bandits, and he's taught to fight, but then he becomes like this murderous little punk, and and even his family that he called family just kind of pushed him away, and and eventually had no one. And then he found out about Yukina, and he got the Jiganai to find her, and but it's yeah, Kieran, yeah, that's his name, Kieran. Um, Shigure. Um, but just the series, I wish the final arc just lasted longer, but I mean, they did kind of make up for it with the OVA in 2018, who's really good. It was especially was like a last year or something with the English dub with Funimation. It was good to hear the English voices again. You know, I can't say I grew up. I was already a teenager, but I with the English voices. So hearing those, I was like, yeah, they obviously sounded a little different because they, the actors are a little bit older. So, you know, but it was really good to hear them. But Yu Yu Hakusho, I could I could pretty much talk all day about it. I mean, look at we're already 46 minutes in. Each video's only like a minute or so long, and I've made this into an almost hour-long video because I love this series. It's better than, in my opinion, as many all the like the OG ones and the Death Note. I say I love. I love it more than Death Note. I love Azumanga Daioh. I love it more than that. I love it more than Dragon Ball Z. I love it more than Chobits. All these other anime that I love it more than this is by far, in my opinion, the best anime. And if you're looking to get into anime, this would be the one to do it. Not Inuyasha, not Dragon Ball Z, not Sailor Moon, not like those OG, not Astro Boy or anything. No, this is the anime to get into. It's short, sweet, and to the point. Unlike this video, because again, I could talk all day about this. I really could. That's how good of an anime it is. I could talk all day about just one episode. That is how good it is. If you haven't seen it, give it a try. Of course, as a Yu Yu Hakusho fan, I'm gonna be watching that live action Netflix because, in my opinion, I can't call myself a fan if I don't at least try to watch it. I know it's gonna be bad. We've seen the character what they look like. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. But as a fan, I can't say that I'm a fan of something without giving it a try. So, anyway, Yu Yu Hakusho. Watch it. Anyway, if you have seen it before, what's your favorite arc? Who's your favorite character? And out of the entire series, if you could have one of their powers, whether it be Hiei's Dragon of the Darkness, or actually even of the Jugon. The Jugon sounds pretty helpful. Or Kuwabara's Dimension Sword that can, slice through dimensions. Any power you've seen. Genkai's Spirit Wave that can pretty much do whatever you want. It's like the Force. You just, whatever you want to do with it, you can do it. You want to heal yourself, you can heal. You can, offensive, defensive, create barriers, heal people, raise spirit levels, lower spirit levels. You can do anything with it. Sky's the limit. But yeah, what's your favorite arc, favorite character, and if you could have a power, from one of the characters, who would it be? As much as I love everything else, I'm sorry, a good old-fashioned spirit gun would just be amazing. Just, feeling that right at the tip of your finger, that powering it up and having this massive blast of energy, just, you see your fingers so tiny, and then it just comes out as this massive blast. It's just so satisfying. But anyway, let me know all that great stuff below. That's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.